I'm done with the crime. The federal government has to get their butt moving.
Doug Ford's really great at pointing a finger at somebody else and saying it's their fault.
The Ford government is ramping up pressure on Ottawa, firing off a letter to the federal Liberals demanding tougher bail laws for safer streets. But critics tell us crime in Ontario is getting worse under the Premier's watch.
But the federal government has to change the criminal code. They have to stop dragging their feet and start moving on this.
Calling it a broken federal bail system that allows violent repeat offenders back onto the streets, Ontario's Solicitor General demanding the feds implement a series of new measures in upcoming criminal justice legislation, including removing bail for offenders charged with murder, terrorism, and other serious crimes, a 3-strike rule requiring repeat offenders stay behind bars before their day in court, and mandatory minimum sentences.
We want to make sure that people understand that there will be a sentence that fits the crime.
But opposition critics at Queen's Park say there are improvements that can be made right here in Ontario, like addressing overcrowded jails and chronic court delays that force criminal cases to be tossed.
If he'd done those things, if he'd actually done those things and then wrote a letter and then said, I need you to do this, it would have more credibility. I don't disagree with anything in the letter, but do your job.
Why aren't you working to resolve some of the issues that you have control of?
Well, Ontario has done its part. We've hired 2,700 new correctional officers. We've invested $500 million in infrastructure improvements alone to our own existing correctional facilities. So our government is acting. Our government has done its part. We need the federal government to step up.
What about judges? Is the government falling behind in appointing judges, and is that leading to more court delays?
Well, we've also invested, thanks to the Attorney General, almost $30 million to help clear the court backlog by appointing new judges and new crowns. But it really goes back to what I've said in the letter. I've said in the letter that there has to be minimum mandatory sentences.
The Carney government has promised changes to penalties and to the bail system, particularly for violent repeat offenders.
That there are final decisions to be taken on what specific measures may be included in the upcoming legislation.
That legislation will be tabled in October ahead of the federal budget. For City News, I'm Tina Yazdani.